Greetings from Terry here, D-Lab. In this video I'm going to show you how to make your own Fender designed brass ground plate to go behind the control panel of these kit amplifiers. For this example, we'll be installing the plate into a Fender Princeton style amplifier kit. The first thing that you need to get is a piece of 10/1000 brass shim stock. The length of this shim stock depends on the control lineup on the amp that you're installing it into. In this case, we have a Princeton, and it looks like we need a length of 13 inches. Then the height of this chassis inside is approximately 1.5 inches, and you also need the bottom half of that plate to go back so the eyelet board can make contact with the grounds. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a 3-inch piece of brass, in this case by 13 inches. We're going to make a line down the center at the 1.5 inch point, and we're going to bend this approximately 90 degrees. After it's bent, it will go behind the control panel. So let's go bend it. Alright, now we need to bend that plate at the 1.5 inch mark. If you don't have a sheet metal bender, which most people don't, you can simply clamp the piece of metal to the edge of a table or workbench and then push it down by hand. This is not a high precision operation. After you get the 90-degree bend, then when you pull it out of here, you can make that bend a little more tight to go behind the chassis. Alright, here is our bent brass plate. Now you just take it and pop it behind the front panel. And then we are going to use the existing holes as the pilots to ensure perfect alignment for the controls and jacks that come through the plate. But you have one little issue. You see how the plate likes to move? It needs to be clamped. So I use these little triangular blocks. I'm going to put them behind the chassis. We're going to clamp it into place, and when I do that, I'm going to push this thing all the way down to the bottom and tight against the front, and once it's clamped, we can drill. Our brass plate is clamped into place behind the control panel. Now I'm going to take a center punch and pop a little index mark at the center of all these holes. Then we'll be using an 1/8 inch center drill and drill those out. This does not have to be perfect. In the next step, you'll see why. Alright, they're all punched. Now I'm just going to take my center drill and get our holes started. Obviously watching my fingers behind. Alright, I have all the center drilling complete. Now when you're doing this, you're able to move the clamps back and forth to clear your drill. So the next thing I do is I pick the center hole, and now we're going to use a stepper bit. And this is where you get the alignment. The stepper bit will align itself with the outer chassis because it's thicker material, and then the inner brass will be absolutely perfect. What I like to do is get the center one done. Then I take a control, I put that through to stabilize the brass and make sure that it can't try to jump out of position. So at this point, once I get that tightened up, we can work our way each way and finish all the holes, and they'll be perfect when you're done. Okay, all the holes are drilled. Now what I need to do is remove the plate and get the burrs off the back side and clean the brass out from inside the chassis. Okay, mission accomplished. The brass plate is installed. I have all the controls remounted, and here is what it looks like from the back. So as my old Air Force instructor would say, it's just that simple. Well, now that you've seen the process and what's involved, I hope you can understand why I can't offer these as an off-the-shelf item. They are custom, but now that you've seen the process, I believe you could probably make it yourself.